Welcome to Truth Discovery. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon for more breaking updates. Across the South China Sea, a new chapter in global tensions is unfolding. The region, long a flashpoint for competing interests, is once again at the center of a high-stakes geopolitical drama that could reshape the balance of power in Asia and beyond. The Philippines has just released a bold new national map, a direct challenge to China's sweeping maritime claims. This map redraws the lines, asserting the Philippines' rights over vast stretches of sea that have been hotly contested for years. This isn't just cartography, it's a declaration of sovereignty and a test of international law. The map is a statement, a legal and diplomatic maneuver that puts the Philippines' position in black and white for the world to see. The South China Sea is a vital artery for global trade and a treasure trove of resources, making this standoff a matter of worldwide consequence. Every year, trillions of dollars in goods pass through these waters, and beneath the surface lie rich reserves of oil, gas, and marine life. The Philippines is standing firm, signaling to the world, "This is our territory, and we will defend it." The message is clear. The nation will not back down, even in the face of overwhelming pressure. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. calls the map a historic milestone, planting the nation's flag on the legal and diplomatic battlefield. For many Filipinos, it's a moment of national pride and a bold assertion of their place in the world. The move shifts the conflict from ambiguous rhetoric to concrete, internationally recognized boundaries. It transforms a long-simmering dispute into a clear, legal contest, with lines drawn for all to see. The world is watching closely. Will international law prevail, or will might make right? The outcome could set a precedent for how similar disputes are handled across the globe. The Philippine Maritime Zone's map is a deliberate legal step, grounded in the 2016 Hague ruling. That decision rejected China's expansive claims, but enforcement remains a challenge. This act could embolden other nations with similar disputes, or provoke a stronger response from Beijing. The ripple effects may be felt from Vietnam to Malaysia, and even further afield. The stakes are enormous: sovereignty, security, and the rules that govern our world. The decisions made here could influence international relations for years to come. The Philippines' new map is not the end, but the beginning of a tense and uncertain chapter. The coming months will test alliances, resolve, and the very fabric of international law. This is David versus Goliath, played out on the high seas. The world is witnessing a classic struggle between a smaller nation and a regional giant, with global implications. The outcome will shape the future of the region, and perhaps the world. What happens next could redefine borders, alliances, and the meaning of sovereignty in the 21st century. The story is about more than islands, it's about the principles that define the global order. It's a test of whether rules and agreements can stand up to power and ambition. The lines have been drawn, and the world holds its breath. The next moves will echo far beyond the South China Sea, shaping the course of history. To understand today's conflict, we must look back. The South China Sea dispute is a tangled web of history, nationalism, and economic ambition. Multiple countries, Vietnam, Malaysia, Brunei, Taiwan, have overlapping claims, but China's is the most sweeping. China's 9-dash line cuts deep into its neighbors' economic zones, based on ancient maps and records. In recent years, Beijing has built artificial islands, turning reefs into military outposts. The Philippines, meanwhile, bases its claims on proximity, history, and international law, specifically UNCLOS. This legal framework is the bedrock of Manila's challenge. The dispute is now a collision of two narratives: China's historical right versus the Philippines' legal right. The tension is no longer just about maps, it's a test of whether law or power will decide the future of the sea. The world is watching as a legal framework is tested by raw power. In 2013, the Philippines took a bold step and brought China to court, invoking the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, UNCLOS, at The Hague. It was a move that surprised many, as few small nations had dared to challenge a global power in such a high-profile legal arena. The 2016 tribunal ruling was a sweeping victory for Manila. The court declared that China's expansive 9-dash line had no legal basis under international law, and that the Philippines' rights within its exclusive economic zone were clear and protected. The court found China had violated the Philippines' sovereign rights, repeatedly interfering with fishing and resource exploration. But Beijing rejected the ruling outright, calling it null and void, and refused to participate in the proceedings from the start. For China, sovereignty is non-negotiable and not subject to arbitration. The government insisted that its historical claims outweighed any international verdict. The Philippines held a powerful legal document, but no means to enforce it. The victory was celebrated in courtrooms and headlines, but on the water, little changed. The ruling became a paper shield. Legally potent, yet powerless against China's Coast Guard and maritime militia, who continued to patrol and assert control over disputed waters. For years, Manila downplayed the ruling, hoping for economic deals and investment from Beijing. Yet, the pressure at sea only intensified, with Filipino fishermen still facing harassment and exclusion. Now, under President Marcos Jr., the Philippines is making the 2016 ruling the centerpiece of its foreign policy, signaling a new era of assertiveness and national pride. The new map is the physical manifestation of that legal victory, a bold statement to the world and to its own people. It's an attempt to turn a paper shield into a concrete national policy, with real boundaries and renewed resolve. The Philippines is no longer content with symbolic wins. It's drawing real lines both on maps and in the water, determined to defend its rights. The world is being asked to choose. Will it stand by the rule of law, or allow might to make right in the South China Sea? The stakes have never been clearer, and the outcome will shape the region for generations to come. The South China Sea is now a stage for dangerous confrontations. At the heart of the tension, the Second Thomas Shoal, where Filipino Marines hold out on the BRP Sierra Madre. Resupplying this outpost has become perilous, with Chinese Coast Guard vessels using water cannons and blockades. Recent months have seen collisions and calculated acts of intimidation. China claims it's enforcing its laws. The Philippines and much of the world see harassment and violations of international law. Each resupply mission is a high-stakes gamble, broadcast live to the world. Filipino sailors show remarkable courage, facing overwhelming odds. The risk of escalation is real. One misstep could trigger a wider conflict. The front lines of sovereignty are now dangerously close to the breaking point. The conflict has entered a new phase, cartographic warfare, where maps themselves become powerful tools of influence and assertion. In August 2025, China released a new map featuring a 10-dash line, further expanding its maritime claims and igniting outrage across Southeast Asia. The move was seen as a bold escalation, challenging neighboring countries and international norms. China's map is more than just a drawing, it's a declaration of intent, aiming to normalize its control over the South China Sea and shape perceptions both at home and abroad. In response, the Philippines unveiled its own maritime zones map, firmly grounded in international law and the landmark 2016 Hague ruling that rejected China's sweeping claims. This new map provides much-needed legal clarity and a unified basis for government action, strengthening the Philippines' position on the global stage. President Marcos Jr. now plans to submit the map to the United Nations, a move designed to force the world to take a stand and recognize the Philippines' lawful maritime boundaries. The Battle of the Maps is more than symbolism. It's a strategic move to shift the narrative, influence international opinion, and rally support from the global community. The Philippines is no longer simply reacting, it's actively asserting its rights and taking the initiative in the ongoing dispute. The lines are clearer than ever before, and the world must now choose which map and which vision for the South China Sea it will recognize. The cartographic battle is now at the very heart of the dispute, shaping the future of the region and the rules that will govern it. The new map marks a pivotal shift in the Philippines' strategy. For years, Manila's response was fragmented. Now, it's unified and official. Experts say this consolidation gives the Philippines a stronger, more consistent position. Every patrol, every diplomatic protest now points to a single, authoritative map. The move institutionalizes the 2016 Arbitral Award, embedding it in national policy. The dispute is evolving from on-the-water standoffs to a sophisticated legal and diplomatic campaign. By submitting the map to the UN, the Philippines is internationalizing the issue and leveraging global opinion. This approach is risky, putting Manila on a collision course with Beijing, but experts say it's necessary. Quiet diplomacy failed. Now, clarity and resolve are the new strategy. Defending sovereignty requires more than courage at sea. It demands relentless legal and diplomatic action. The map is now the cornerstone of that campaign. The Philippines is not alone in this fight. Its alliance with the United States, under the Mutual Defense Treaty, provides a crucial security backstop. Washington has made clear an armed attack on Philippine forces in the South China Sea could trigger a US response. This deterrent sends a strong message to Beijing. Manila is also deepening ties with Australia and Japan, expanding joint exercises and intelligence sharing. This coalition aims to uphold international law and freedom of navigation. The presence of allied naval vessels signals that the world is watching. The Philippines' web of alliances is a force multiplier in its quest for sovereignty. As the Philippines asserts itself abroad, it faces immense challenges at home. In November 2025, back-to-back typhoons devastated the country, leaving hundreds dead and millions displaced. Climate change is making these disasters more frequent and severe, straining national resources. The government must balance military modernization with urgent disaster relief and public health needs. Every dollar spent on defense is one less for rebuilding communities. Yet defending sovereignty is seen as essential for long-term security and economic survival. The resources of the South China Sea are vital for the nation's future. For the Philippines, the fight for sovereignty and the fight for survival are inseparable. The stakes are not just territorial, they're existential. The new Philippine map is more than a geopolitical move. It's a statement about the world we want. The Philippines is betting on law, not force, to shape the future. China is unlikely to back down, and the risk of escalation remains high. The path forward demands courage, dialogue, and a commitment to peace. The international community must support the rules-based order and freedom of navigation. The principles at stake are the pillars of global stability. The Philippines is fighting for its future. And, for the principle that law, not might, should decide. The world must now decide where it stands.